Yes, morning, just in a minute.
Okay. Raman, please turn on your video. Raman, are you there? Purujit Raman? Okay, children. So, as we discussed in the previous class about the chapter that we have already started, matter in our surroundings, anything which occupies space and has mass is considered to be matter. Can anyone name those 5 things which the Indian scientists told that the entire universe would be made up of? Just one you have to tell. Sampath, you tell me just one.
Ma'am, air.
Hmm?
Ma'am, air.
Correct. Akshra,
Ma'am, can you repeat the question?
yes, my question is I am asking about the 5 things that the Indian philosophers told that the universe is made up of. One of them is air. Then,
Water, fire,
Sampath, you are on unmute. Yes, Akshra. Just one thing you have to tell. After air,
water,
correct. Water. Then Jitendra. Tell me. Air, water. Then Jitendra, what could be the third thing?
Land.
No. Purujit Raman, what's her actual name? Purujit or Raman?
Ma'am, both.
Both. Okay. So what do we call you? Purujit?
Ma'am, yes, Purajit.
Sorry?
Ma'am, you can call me Purajit.
Okay. So tell me the any other thing which you could know that the universe is made up of. There were 5 things that were told by the Indian philosophers that the entire universe is made up of. It was air, water. Can you tell me about any third thing? Hmm? No? Okay. Pranav?
Earth, ma'am.
Hmm? Earth.
Earth.
Yes, that's correct. Third was earth. Yukta? Any other substance
yes,
you can, any other thing which you can tell?
and fire.
Yes, fire. And the last, which you people did not say, is sky.
Sky.
So, yes. So, first of all, everyone should be aware what actually matter is. It is anything that occupies space and has mass is matter. Then, matter is anything that can be felt using any of our 5 sense organs. Then, the ancient Indian philosophers said that matter around us is made up of 5 basic things, which are air, fire, earth, sky, and water. Then later we started to discuss about matter. If matter is continuous or it has particle nature. Who will tell me if matter is continuous or has particle nature? Only Yukta and Sampath knows. Okay, Yukta, you go ahead and tell.
Ma'am, matter is made up of particles.
Yes, very good. So I gave the example in the previous class of the glass that if we look at any glass, it appears us to be very continuous, right? But if we drop glass, it shatters into many, many pieces, right? So glass is not continuous, or we may say that matter is not continuous, but is made up of many small particles. Clear, everyone? Good evening, Rohit.
Good evening, ma'am.
Rohit, we are just recalling all the things which we have studied in the previous class, and there is just one more topic which I'll be introducing today. So, just pay attention. We have just discussed the definition of matter. What is matter? Do you know that?
Yes, ma'am.
What is that?
Ma'am, it's anything that occupies space in an empty area.
and has mass.
Mhm.
It is anything, you may please turn on your video. So anything that occupies space and has mass is considered to be matter. Also, matter is anything which can be felt using our five sense organs. Then we were discussing about what the Indian ancient philosophers said. They said that all the matter around us is made up of five basic substances, which is air, fire, earth, sky, and water. And then we were discussing if the matter it is particle nature or it is continuous. So we were taking the example of a glass. If we look at a glass, it appears that it is continuous, but when we drop a glass, then it shatters into many pieces, which makes us sure that the nature of the matter is not continuous, but it is particle nature. Clear, everyone? Because this can be a question, how will you prove or how can you say that the matter is not continuous but is made up of particles? So you can use this example of glass and explain it, right? Now, then what are these particles made up of? We said that the matter is made up of particles, but then what are these particles? These particles could be atoms or molecules. Now, what are atoms? What are molecules? Can anyone tell me what are atoms or molecules? Jitendra, can you tell me what are atoms or molecules?
Ma'am, molecules are made up of atoms, ma'am.
Correct. And
Atom
what are
is
atoms?
atom is smallest
Particles.
particle.
Yes, atom is the smallest unit that makes up the matter. Like, for example, if we talk about the home, I had discussed this earlier also, that if we have to build a home, first we take the bricks, then the bricks combine to make a wall, then five walls actually make up the room, then many rooms make up the home, right? So the building block of the home is the brick. Similarly, the building block of the matter is the atom. Then, when many atoms combine, they form molecules, right? Then, particles of matter are okay. These were the two things. Then we had discussed about the properties of the particles. So, the first property is that the particles of matter are very small in size and so small that we cannot see them with our naked eyes. Then, who will explain me any one activity by which we can say that the particles of matter are very small in size? Can anyone? Pranav, can you tell me any activity which can explain that the particles of matter are very small in size? Keep your videos turned on, everyone. Pranav, Yukta, Rohit, and Purujit. Keep your videos turned on. Pranav and Rohit also. Pranav, do you know the answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me.
Ma'am, take 2 or 3 crystals of potassium permanganate and dissolve it in water.
Hmm.
2 or 3 crystals of potassium permanganate makes so much shows us so much color
Hmm.
in water.
Hmm.
That's what.
Yes. So what happens is initially we take 100 ml of water. In that we put 2-3 crystals of potassium permanganate, which gives us dark purple color, and later this purple color keeps on getting lightened when we go ahead. So I'll just speeden up this video so as to understand the property. We have
Very small
already seen this
quantity
video.
of
So I'll
potassium
increase the
permanganate
speed and we'll
crystals,
quickly
and we are
watch
going to
the
dissolve
video.
it in 100 ml of water here. Can you see that deep purple color? Now if we can show that a very small quantity of potassium permanganate can also color a large volume of water, then that means that these crystals must be containing millions and millions of particles that get spread on dissolving and color the water. So the particles of potassium permanganate must be very small. But the trick we're going to do is, rather than dissolve a small quantity of potassium permanganate in a large volume of water, we're going to make use of the purple water here. So we're going to take a small quantity of this purple water and dilute it with more water. And then again take a small quantity of that and further dilute it with more water. It's the same effect as adding a small quantity of this in a large volume of water. Let me show you how. First, I've taken 1/10 of this purple potassium permanganate solution in the small beaker here. So 1/10 of 100 ml is, as you can see, 10 ml. Now I'm going to pour this solution into the empty glass here. And then we're going to dilute it with 90 ml of water so that the total solution becomes 100 ml. So can you see the light purple color now? Now let's take 1/10 of this new solution and again dilute it with water to make the total volume 100 ml. Again, we have taken 10 ml of this light purple solution and we are going to dilute it with water again. So the total volume of the new solution is 100 ml. And can you see the pink color of the solution? And again, we're going to repeat the dilution process with this new solution. So even in this last glass, can you see that the light pink color is still visible here? So this process of taking a small part of the colored solution and repeatedly diluting it makes the color go from dark to light. With the help of this experiment, we've shown that if you take the same small quantity of potassium permanganate and put it in a large volume of water, you're going to end up with a light pink color like this last glass here. So what's our conclusion? These tiny crystals of potassium permanganate must be containing millions and millions of potassium permanganate particles, which on dissolving in water, they can spread through the large volume of water and give it a light pink color like this. So the particles...
I hope this is clear that the particles of matter are made up of very small tiny particles which keeps on dividing themselves until they are too small to be divided, right? Then comes the characteristics of these particles. Now, even if the matter is made up of atom or molecule, they all have certain characteristics. So the first characteristic of particle of matter is that there are spaces present between the particles of matter. How do we show that the particles of matter have spaces between them? We take the glass of water and we pour some salt in it. When we pour some salt in it, the salt automatically mixes with the water, which shows us that there were spaces present in the water which were occupied by the salt or the sugar particles, whatever we put it. But if we talk about any colored item, like for example, if we talk about ink, the visibility of the colored particles moving is very much clear compared to if we take only the sugar and salt, because when if at all we talk about sugar or salt, then there is no specific color which comes to the water. But if we drop any colored item, we are able to observe the color also, right? So this shows us that the particles of matter have spaces between them. This is the first property. Second property is particles of matter are continuously moving. This I explained you. If I spray the perfume and you are just sitting beside me, I hope that everyone is aware that we are able to smell the perfume of the person who is sitting beside us, right? So how does that happen? That the particles of the perfume, they tend to travel and they mix with the air, and that air we are able to smell. The particles of the air we are able to smell. So that shows us that the particles of the matter were continuously moving. Similarly, I gave you the example of the ink particles, that the particles of ink, they tend to mix with the particles of the water and they tend to make the entire water colored. So again, this shows that the particles of the matter are continuously moving, means the particles of the ink move towards the particles of the water and they made the entire water colored. Then who will tell me? I told about the definition of the diffusion. Akshara, can you tell me what is diffusion?
Ma'am, can you give me 1 second?
You are asking what I'm asking.
1 second.
I'm asking what do you mean by diffusion, if you know.
Ma'am, 1 second.
Sorry.
Just give me 1 second. Ma'am, it means like diffusion is like generally something from a higher region of concentration to a region of lower concentration. So
I gave two definitions of diffusion. The first definition was the intermixing of particles, means the mixing of two or more particles with each other. And the second definition which I gave was that the movement of particles from a region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. Fine. So, for example, if we talk about the honey, if we drop some honey in the water or maybe in the milk, then the honey tends to settle at the bottom. After some time, the particles of the honey starts to move and they tend to mix with the water or the milk. Right? Clear, everyone? Any doubts? Okay, and then the diffusion depends mainly on two factors. The first factor is density, means how heavy the two substances are to be mixed together, and the temperature. Like for example, if we have cold milk and we have hot milk, we have to mix 1 spoon of Bonvita into both of them. Then mixing of Bonvita in the cold milk is a little difficult compared to the mixing of Bonvita in the hot milk. Whenever the temperature is more, the diffusion takes place faster. Whenever the food which is cooked at our home, it is hot, the smell of the hot cooked food comes to us to a far off place, whereas whenever the food gets cold, the smell doesn't reach us. Am I making it clear to everyone? Any doubts, anyone till here? Whosoever joined the class late also, any doubts, anyone? No? Harshit, you haven't turned on your video till now? Is it going to go like this till the end of the class?
Ma'am, actually, I have a network issue. Whenever I am trying to join, it's not showing the join button also. So can I keep
Okay.
my
Yeah, tell your parents to drop in a message. Fine. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am.
So I hope both the factors are clear. The first factor is density. The heavier the substance to be put, the lesser will be the diffusion. Whereas if we talk about the temperature, it is directly proportional, means more the temperature, the diffusion will be more. Clear, everybody? Any doubts still here? Fine, children. Then yes, that's the last property, that the particles of the matter attract each other. So we were taking the example of iron nail and chalk. Everyone knows that both of them are solids, right? Since both of them are solids, but then also if you try to break the iron nail with the help of hammer and the chalk with the help of hammer, it is easier to break chalk particles compared to the iron nail particles. Why is it so? Because the forces of attraction between the iron particles are way more than the particles of chalk. Clear, everyone? So we have studied 3 properties of the particles of matter. I'll just conclude them. We will read the NCERT, do some questions of NCERT, then we will come to the next topic. Particles of matter. So there are 3 properties. First, have spaces between them. Have spaces between them. Then next, particles of matter are continuously moving. And the last property, that the particles of matter attract each other. So these are the 3 properties of the particles of matter. Of all of these 3, I have given you various examples, right? Clear? So this was the entire topic which we had studied till now in the previous classes also. I have covered all the topics once again for all the children who by any chance missed any of the topics, right? So as far as I remember, we had read about the particles of matter have space between them. Now we are going to read particles of matter are continuously moving, right? I hope my screen is clearly visible, the NCERT part. Yes. Okay, Rohit, let's start from you only. Start reading particles of matter are continuously moving. Read activity 1.3.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Put a unlit license stick in a corner of your class. How close do you have to go near it so as to get its smell? Now, light the incense stick. What happens? Do you get the smell sitting at a distance? Record your observations.
So what will happen? Do you all know what is incense stick?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So if we lighten up an incense stick, then what happens?
Ma'am, a chemical reaction takes place and we get the smell of it.
Yes, you are able to get the smell even if you are sitting far apart, right? That happens. So why does that happen? Because when we light it up, we are increasing the temperature of the incense stick. So as soon as we lighten up, the temperature of the incense stick increases, and the particles of the incense stick tends to mix with the particles of the air, and air is present everywhere around us. So the particles tend to travel to us, right? Now, Harshit, can you read activity 1.4?
Yeah, ma'am. Take 2 glasses beakers filled with water. Put a drop of blue colored ink slowly and carefully along the sides of the first beaker and honey in the same way in the second beaker. Leave them undisturbed in your house or in a corner of the class. Record your observations. What do you observe immediately after adding the ink drop? What do you observe immediately after adding the drop of honey? How many hours or days does it take for the color of ink to spread evenly throughout the water?
So what happens if we take this is the same thing which I gave you the example, right? So tell me, you people only tell me the answer now. What will happen if we if you put some drops of ink and a few drops of honey in the water, which will move faster, which will get mixed faster?
Now the drops of ink will mix faster than honey.
Only one child is able to understand. Nobody else wants to answer by themselves. So can anyone tell me the reason apart from Sampath? Anyone else? He has told the correct answer that the drops of ink will mix faster compared to the drop of honey. Why does that happen?
Ma'am, because like honey is heavier than water, so
It
it
is
gets
denser than the ink particle, so it takes a little more time to
ink is
mix.
lighter than water,
Ink
so
is
it
lighter. Very good. That's correct now. Now the next activity, 1.5, we are going to read. Jitendra, please read it.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
Drop a crystal of copper sulfate or potassium permanganate into a glass of hot water and add another containing cold water. Do not stir the solution. Allow the crystals to settle at the bottom. What do you observe just above the solid crystal in the glass? What happens as the time passes? What does this suggest about the particles of solid and liquid? Does the rate of mixing change with temperature? Why and how?
So what can you conclude? What can you people tell me about it? That if you drop a potassium permanganate uh, crystal into hot water, we are surely going to see the color change. Yes, Purujit? We are going to see the color change or not? We are going to see the color change. The entire solution is going to get converted into purple color, right? As soon as we put potassium permanganate. Whereas if you put copper sulfate, the solution will turn into blue color because the copper sulfate is blue in color. So what will happen if we are using the hot water? I have explained. You tell me. Who will tell me? Yukta, can you tell me what will happen if we put the crystal in the hot water?
Ma'am, like when we put the crystal in the hot water, the like as the water is hot, it helps in the like it helps the crystal to dissolve faster than in cold water. Because
Yes, though I got a call, I could not hear what you said, but I think you have spoken it correctly. That if the temperature is more, then the mixing will be faster compared to when it is not cold. Fine. Okay. Now let us read further. Who will read? Akshara, you can read.
yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, the particles,
Yes,
the
the particles of matter are continuously moving.
particles of matter are continuously moving. That is, they possess what we call the kinetic energy. As room temperature rises, particles move faster. So we can say that with increasing temperature, the kinetic energy of the particles also increase. In the
Read
above
further.
three activities, we observe that particles of matter intermix on their own with each other. They do so by getting into the spaces between the particles. This intermixing of particles of two different types of matter on their own is called diffusion. We can also observe that on heating, diffusion becomes faster. Why does this happen?
So the diffusion becomes faster on heating because the temperature.
Because the temperature increases.
Yes. Okay. So Pranav, now you can read particles of matter attract each other 1.6 activity.
Yes, ma'am. Play this game in the field. Make 4 groups and form human chains as suggested. The first group should hold each other from the back and lock arms like Idu Mishmi dancers. The second group should hold hand to form a human chain. The third group should form a chain by touching each other with only their fingertips. Now, the fourth group of students should run and around and try to break the 3 human chains one by one into as many small groups as possible. Which group was the easiest to break? Why? If we consider each student as a particle of matter, then in which group the particles held each other with the maximum force?
So children, there is this example in which they are asking you to make the groups with different kind of students. In the first group, everyone is going to hold each other from the back, like you can see in the picture also. Then in the second group, only the hands are to be held like this. Then in the third group, only the fingers are to be touched, and the fourth group will try to break all of them. So the one you tell me, Rohit, you tell me which group will be most easiest to be broken.
Ma'am, the third one is that just holding the fingertips so they can easily
Right.
break, but
Means
the others are very interlocked, so they'll take a lot of time to get
yes, broken. So the first easiest one to be broken are the ones which are just touching the fingertips. Then the next one would be the ones which are holding the hand, and the next one, the most difficult, would be the ones which are holding each other from their backs. Why is it so? Because it depends on the types of force of attraction which is present in all of them. So we are going to study about the forces of attraction between 3 different states of matter in the next part of the chapter. Now we will read activity 1.7. Purujit, you are supposed to read activity 1.7.
Take an iron nail, a piece of chalk, and a rubber band. Try breaking them by hammering, cutting, or stretching. In which of the above 3 substances do you think the particles are held together with greater force?
So we discussed this also already. Purujit, you only tell me the answer. If we try to break a piece of iron nail, an iron nail, a piece of chalk, and a rubber band with the hammer, which will be the most easiest to be broken?
And the rubber band.
The rubber band is elastic in nature, whereas a chalk powder can be broken up with the help of hammer, and iron nail is the most difficult to be broken, right? Sampath, you can read activity 1.8.
Yes, ma'am. Take some water in a container. Try cutting the surface of water with your fingers. Were you able to cut the surface of water? What could be the reason behind the surface of water remaining together?
So if at all the stream of water is coming from the tap at your homes, you can even try that. If you try to put your finger inside, up or down, are you able to cut the stream of water?
No, ma'am.
No, we are not able to do so. The water keeps on coming in the stream, like even if we are not putting the finger, it is like a stream. If we are putting the finger, we cross our finger, but still the water is in the stream only. So how does that happen? Or why does that happen? Because the particles of matter are attracting each other. They have some forces of attraction which we are unable to break using our finger. That's why we are able to see the stream as it is, right? Who hasn't gotten the chance to read? Yukta? Okay, Yukta, you can read the later part where what is written under the activity.
The above 3 activities 1.6, 1.7 and 1.8 suggest that particles of matter have force acting between them. This force keeps the particles together. The strength of this force of attraction varies from one kind of matter to the other.
I hope this is all clear to everyone. I hope there are no doubts. Yeah. Okay. So now let us start the discussion of NCERT questions, which are just under this activity, which clearly suggest us that they are related to whatever we have studied till now, right? So let us start with the first one. We will be very quick so that everyone gets a chance and we are able to complete these 4 questions. Okay, Aksha, let's start from you. We have to tell if at all the given substances are matter or not. So if at all they are matter, I'll put a tick mark. If they're not matter, we will put a cross mark, right? Akshara, let's start from you. Chair.
Ma'am, chair is a matter.
Yes. Pranav, what about air?
Matter, ma'am.
Sorry,
Matter. It is matter.
it is matter. Then Yukta, what about love?
It's not matter.
No, it is not matter. Harshit, what about smell?
Ma'am, it's not matter.
It is?
Yeah, it's not matter.
It is matter.
Okay, ma'am.
ठीक है? Then hate, Jitendra.
It is not matter, ma'am.
It is not matter. Purujit, what about almonds?
Ma'am, it's matter.
It is matter. Then Rohit, what about thought?
Ma'am, it's not matter.
No, it's not matter. Sampath, what about cold?
Ma'am, it's not matter.
It is not matter. Akshara, again, lemon, water. Lemon water is one word.
Matter.
Matter. Then Pranav, smell of perfume.
Matter, ma'am.
Matter. Okay. Now, Yukta, next question. You can tell me the answer if you know. Give reasons for the following observation. The question says the smell of hot sizzling food reaches you several meters away, but to get the smell from cold food, you have to go close.
Ma'am, when we talk about the hot food, in hot food, what happens is that, as we have discussed before also, when it's hot, it's easy for it to travel in air or even in any other, like for example, when we heat, mix things in water also, it gets easy when it's hot. In air also, the flowing of, like the smell, it's easy when it's hot than when it's cold. So that is the reason. In high
Very good. So the hot sizzling food has high temperature, because of which the kinetic energy of the particles increase. The kinetic energy of the particles increase and that is why we are able to get the smell. So the diffusion increases. You have to mention the word temperature, you have to mention the word kinetic energy, and you have to mention the word diffusion. Clear? Any doubts? Anyone in this question? No? Okay. Harshit, next question is for you. A diver is able to cut through water in the swimming pool. Which property of matter does this observation show?
Ma'am, it's the force of attraction.
So, which is the property of matter?
Ma'am, I do not understand the question.
Beta, we have studied only 3 properties of the
Yeah.
particles of matter, which are written here, right? That the particles of matter have spaces between them, they are continuously moving, and they attract each other. So, out of these 3, if a diver is able to cut through the swimming pool and do the swimming, then which property amongst these 3 is applicable? Do you know?
I think
Hmm?
properties means matter have force of attraction or
So you have
intermolecular
to tell
space.
me, you are saying it correctly, but you are not saying the property. So, Rohit, what is the property?
Ma'am, they attract each other.
So the property, if you have to say, then it is that the particles of matter attract each other. This is what you have to say. You are saying about the attraction, but you're not telling the property. Okay, Harshit, particles of matter attract each other. Is it clear, dear?
Yeah, no.
Okay. Now, Jitendra, tell me the question is, what are the characteristics of particles of matter? So we have studied 3 characteristics of particles of matter. Tell me any one.
They have spaces between them.
Yes, very good. Then, Sampath,
Yes, ma'am.
tell me. Uh-oh.
Ma'am, the particles of matter are continuously moving.
Yes, they are continuously moving. And Puruji, tell me the last one.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, I didn't quite hear the
Sorry?
ma'am, I didn't hear you properly.
Beta, I'm asking about the characteristics of particles of matter. 2 we have discussed. You have to tell about the third one.
Uh, uh, Particles attract each other.
Yes, they attract each other. I hope all
Attract
of this is clear to everyone. Any doubts anyone is having in the topics which we have discussed? No. So children, I'll be sharing this particular page also so that you can revise what we have discussed in the class. And also, in case you have any doubt, you can ask. And these are the topics which are going to come in the test also, which is going to happen on Saturday as well as on Sunday. Still, if you have any doubt, you may connect with me. And in the next class, we are going to start with a new topic. Clear, everyone? Everyone have a good day. Bye, everyone.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, welcome, children.